quantization postulate, which tells you there are like why there are only two things which comes. It doesn't tell you why, but it tells you like makes a postulate that there are only two possibilities, which is fully symmetric or fully antisymmetric or bosons or fermions. Okay, so this is about I write it as Ri, and generally I'm discussing, I'm saying nothing about the dimension. So it is for a generic dimension, but we will see, you see that what happens, special case happens in special dimension. So, okay. So in general, it's 3D, you can say. So a multi-particle Hamiltonian will look like this. So this kind of term is called a single particle term, which is basically tells you every particle experiences some potential or some force, which could be different, and that's why I put an index I. But there could be other type of interaction, which is two particles seeing each other, and that's a, let's say, central potential is like that. But there could be three body potentials also. For example, if I have three particles, they will all see each other. They can see each other in some kind of interaction. This is a three body term, and so on. There could be n body terms, right? So that is the most general possible Hamiltonian. But notice that this Hamiltonian has a permutation symmetry, which means it's invariant under permutation of particles. So how does that look like? I mean, it need not have, but generally it is true that if a force is acting on particle 1 and 2, the same force, if I flip the particles, that doesn't change the nature of the potential of the force, right? So V21 R2 R1. And this is generally true for all the known forces like electromagnetic, electroweak, strong interaction, gravity, all these forces we know have this character. So this is for two body terms. For three body term, we know this symmetry is manifold. So the symmetry for that is V123 R1 R2 R3 V132. So I'm flipping these 2 and 3. So R1 R3 R2 V231, it is three body term, R2 R3 R1 V213 similarly, right? 312 V321, like that. So these are this six-fold, like all these six terms are basically same terms. So that is why I'm dividing there by 1/6 and so on. Like for in turn, I have to divide by 1/n, because I have, if I want to take the potential between two particles, I have to just take one of these six terms. But in this way of writing, I have taken all the terms. So there is a little smarter way of writing this, where if this doesn't happen, this degeneracy doesn't appear. I mean, degeneracy not in that sense, but some multiple terms representing the same thing in that sense. So the smarter way of writing is writing it like that, so that each term appears only once. You can just check that this works, because it, in case this notation is too compressed for you, just open the notation and you will see there. This implies that all terms will appear exactly once. 3 to n, j equal to 2 to, if I made a mistake, this is I minus 1. This is I minus 1. So j is I minus 1 and k is j minus 1. So that orders the terms and makes sure each term appears only once. And so on. So this is the most general way of writing a many body Hamiltonian at all the with all the possibilities together. Okay. So now what I want to see that any permutation of these can be generated just by pair permutation. So that is why we will mostly discuss about pair permutation. For example, if I look at this 1, 2, 3, all the kind of terms I can just do by flipping two terms, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, and then when I have that 1, 3, 2, I can flip the 2 and 1. So that gives you this the 2, 3, 1 and all that, so on. So the abstract way of writing it, that if I have a H, which is R1, R2, some Ri, some Rj, Rn. So the Hamiltonian has the symmetry, and it is generally, as I said, all Hamiltonian have this symmetry for all kind of known forces. So these two terms flip and so on. So I just put some arbitrary Ri. So actually the most general way of writing it is put them at two arbitrary places. So that means some Ri, some Rj. Okay. So that comes to some Rj, some Ri. So that is the symmetry we expect in a Hamiltonian. Now, given that, what are the kind of ground states or what kind of states, all the possible states you can have in such a system? So that is what we'll explore. So the first thing to notice that this symmetry implies that the Hamiltonian commutes with this pair operator or this pair flip operator, and that of course leads to some kind of degeneracy. And if there is a symmetry, that means there is a commutation operator which is commuting, there is a degeneracy and all that, right? So we'll like to see what is the operator and what it does. Any comment?
So we haven't come across the pair flip operator yet, right?
I discussed it yesterday, but now I'll discuss it a little more explicitly.
Okay.
I
I
said
thought I
that
missed something.
yeah, it is just an operator which flips two positions. So let's say it looks like this: PAB, which acts on a state A and B and flip them. Okay. So since it's a symmetry, it must satisfy this. So that what it does, this has a very bad palm rejection because my palm is moving and it is picking up. So this is the operator, and since they commute, they must have a common set of eigenvalues, eigenstates. And that implies that, let me mute this. If you know the properties of P operator states, you can say something about the H eigenstates, which is our goal. So our goal is to ultimately understand about the Hamiltonian eigenstates. But since this commutes, this allows us to study things and tell us something and gives us some constants about this. So we have already seen an example of how this works. For example, the simplest case of parity. So it tells you that even though what we learned in the case of parity. So if I have a squared well like that, this is x equal to 0. This is minus L by 2. This is plus L by 2. So we learned first thing, even though there is a symmetry of the Hamiltonian, all the allowed eigenstates or all the allowed states need not be has the same symmetry of as the Hamiltonian. So this is the symmetry that x goes to minus x. So this is the parity symmetry. And we can construct these two kind of states. One is 2 by L cos 2n plus 1 pi x by L. 2 by L sine 2 pi n x by L. So that means the Hamiltonian has this symmetry, but these states are not like that, because the symmetric state has this symmetry, but the anti-symmetric state is like that. So it is anti-symmetric. It doesn't have the same symmetry as the Hamiltonian, but this is an allowed state, and that we have seen that how we can construct such state. So here there will be also similarly two possibilities. One is symmetric with respect to permutation operator, another is anti-symmetric or picking up a minus sign with respect to permutation operator. So this is the example. This was the example for parity, revisiting parity. I'm just reminding you how this symmetry things works and how it's exactly the same thing. There is nothing new here. So same applies here. So first thing to note is that P12 square is identity, which means if you exchange twice, then you get back to the same thing. In the most general case, I'm not talking about those peculiar cases of 2D or something. So P12 must have eigenvalues plus minus 1. And these two states, P12S, P12 psi S. So now remember, this is psi S with respect to the P operator, not the parity operator, the permutation operator. So there are two possibilities. These are plus minus 1. So the eigenvalues are either plus. So when it is plus, I call it symmetric. When it is minus, I call it anti-symmetric. So let me put this thing in a box so that you don't get confused. So this is just a revision of a old stuff to remind this kind of thing happens. This kind of binary plus minus operator. Now I'm coming back here, and this psi and this A are symmetric with respect to permutation, not parity. Okay. Okay, so this is what we can see, that there are these only two possibilities in the most general 3D case. Now let's see that what happens when you have 3 or more particles, like more than 2 particles, how the complication arises. So by the way, yesterday Chaitanya asked a question that how do you know that, because there are 2 identical particles. I saw that at late and I didn't answer that. So today we will address that matter. Okay. So for 3 particle, there is an extra complication. 3 or any more than 2. And the complication is simply that 2 permutation operators don't commute with each other. So that means they don't form a CSCO, the complete set of commuting observable. So if you can find a Hamiltonian and 1 permutation operator, they commute. So you can find their joint eigenstate, and you can say that all the states are of 2 types, which is psi S or psi A, with respect to that permutation operator. But that need not be true for another permutation operator, because they don't mutually commute. So the problem is this. It's not a problem, but it doesn't allow you to construct a bigger state. So they don't commute, and that means there is no CSCO. But you can still form a completely symmetric and completely anti-symmetric with respect to permutation of a particular pair of, or any pair of particle. So you can always construct these states, psi AB, psi S. And we will give a specific example of that, and we'll see all the possibilities what you can do, and then we'll see what actually happens, because out of the space of all the possibilities, only 2 things happen, and one is completely symmetric and completely anti-symmetric. And I will make some comment that what about the other possibilities, but these are not exactly what we'll study. So they can still be, you can have still permutation of a particular or any pair of particle, And more interestingly, there could be also a special kind of symmetric subspace. So this is also possible. So I'm just telling you all the possibilities, and I'll give an example for everything. Don't worry about if it is too abstract. So you can call it a partially symmetric because it's part of the state. So this is exactly like forming the irreducible subspaces of an operator, which is like a small block. So what is this idea? The idea is any pair permutation operation, any pair permutation performed on a state in this subspace produces a linear combination of states in that subspace. So that is the idea. And let's see an example, and let's see a general example, and then we'll see a very specific. We'll take 3 particles and show this. So let's say psi1 and psi2 are 2 states which forms this subspace. And if they form this subspace, then it holds the following property: that PAB psi1 takes you to some alpha 1 1 psi1 plus alpha 1 2 psi2, and PAB psi2. So it doesn't take you. So for example, in the earlier case, we saw that they are like fully symmetric or fully antisymmetric, which means if you apply the PAB, it takes you psi1 goes to psi1 only with a sign or no sign. But here you can have a subspace, which is also a possibility, and we'll see immediately what is that possibility and how that looks like. So this, you are familiar with these kind of things in other context. So this looks like this have a 2D representation. So it's a 2-dimensional representation of this permutation operator. So earlier one was a 1D representation because it can be only plus or minus. It can either take psi a to plus psi s to plus psi s, or psi a to minus psi a. It was just 2D representation. Equivalently, you can write it say as a diagonal matrix with a +1 and -1. But here it has to be a representation of this form. So this is a 2D representation of the permutation operator. Okay, now we will see an example of this, all this thing we just talked about. So for that, take 3 particles. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, and consider all the permutation you can apply on this. So what are the permutation? Let's flip these two, 1, 3, and 2, and then flip these two, 3, 1, and 2, and then flip 2, 3, 2, and 1, then flip 2, 3, 1, and then 2, 1, 3. Now notice how they are related. So this thing is related to this thing by a pair flip, 1, 2, and 2, 1. This thing is also a pair flip. This is also a pair flip. This is pair flip in the first 2 positions. Okay, so these 3 are same in that sense. Their relation is similar. Similarly, there could be other pair flips between other positions. So let me connect it like them. So this is a pair flip between second 2 positions. Okay. So did I make a typo? Yeah. This is not like that. This is the first 2 position. Okay. Now there are more pair flip which is between 1 and 3 position. So they are given by, let me connect it like that. And then there are even other symmetries. So I'm listing all the symmetries. So let me connect it by another color. What is this symmetry? This is cyclic symmetry, because if you just cyclically rotate them 1 2 3 3 1 2 2 3 1, this is a cyclic symmetry. So these three are connected by cyclic symmetry, and these three are also connected by cyclic symmetry. So these are all possible list of symmetries. Okay, so there are, one thing is P cyclic, which is basically this blue line, and then there is pairs, all the kind of pair symmetry. So PAB type, so they are all the dotted lines, three types of dotted line, which tells you whether it is a pair symmetry between 1 2 2 3 and 3. So now we'll construct the possible states for this. So let me first construct the simplest state, which is a fully symmetric state. So what, so if I have to construct a state like that, so 1 2 3 S, so what will be what will that look like? So 1 by root 6 will be the normalization, because there are 6 possibilities. You can show that 1 2 3. So these are all the possibilities: 2 3 1, 3 1 2, 1 3 2, 3 2 1, 2 1 3. So these are all the possible symmetric all the possible computation, and I can in principle have a state which is a symmetric combination of that. So let's see what is the property of this, and that we can see very clearly. If I apply any of this PAB on this psi 1 2 3s, I'll get psi 1 2 3s. So that is the property of this. Now I can also similarly construct a fully antisymmetric state. How will that look like? Now there I'm constructing a fully antisymmetric state. So what I'll try to show that there are various other allowed possibilities, but these two are the most special possibilities, because one is fully symmetric and there is another fully symmetric. And then I'll give an argument, or I'll not give an argument, rather I'll state you that even though there are all these possibilities, all these possibility means the one which we discussed earlier, this paired fully symmetric with respect to pair permutation, or the symmetric subspaces, which is not a symmetric on itself, but it is symmetric in some subspace which requires this 2D representation. Even though all these possibilities are there, you will mostly discuss with this fully symmetric, and I'll give some reason behind that. But here we are talking about, if I assume that my Hamiltonian has a permutation symmetry, which is has, because all this, my actual Hamiltonian has all these symmetries, which is like pairs, permutation, cyclic, everything. So all the symmetries I have given in this diagram is present in the Hamiltonian. So the states should have also all these symmetries, and that is what we are trying to construct, that how do these symmetries look like, and what kind of states will satisfy this, what kind of symmetry, what are the possibilities of constructing different states, and what are the symmetries of that. So that is the overview of the discussion. So even if you are missing 1 or 2 lines of algebra, you should know where are you heading. Okay, so like now I'll construct a, so the algebra is a bit, it's not hard, but it is just may not be so easy to follow when it is done in real time in a class. So you have to sit down and do it. But what you should be able to narrate, or you should be able to tell someone that what did we do, what was the agenda. So this is, I can construct also, this is perfectly legal wave function, and this is another linear combination, and that has the property that with respect to any of these dotted lines, they satisfy this. Will come in a moment, the cyclic operator. So this minus sign satisfies this, which is easy to see, because if you do this, it flips, this will flip, and these two will flip. So this will pick up a minus sign because of this wave function. This will go to this, and this will go to this. So the overall thing will pick up a minus sign. So that is basically the this is basically the kind of wave function or kind of state which is allowed, but fully asymmetric and fully symmetric. So these are two possibilities, and they are linearly independent, which means if you calculate their overlap, the overlap will vanish. If the particle is one of these two states, antisymmetric or symmetric, it cannot be in the other one. Okay, and we have seen this is also true for the parity, linearly independent. And you can also quickly see this kind of thing just from the diagram without doing any calculation, because just giving you a head on that how to do that. So if you see that the symmetric wave function is basically a sum of these triangles, up pointing triangle and down pointing triangle in this diagram. And the antisymmetric is a subtraction of that. And this paired wave function basically takes you from one triangle to another triangle. So that is why if you have a minus combination of that, that will give you a minus sign. So you can visualize this algebra with this picture. Okay, now these two are straightforward because we have already discussed there will be a wave function which is symmetric, which is antisymmetric. Now let's also construct another legal set of wave function, also legal wave function, which is more complicated, which is not so straightforward. So let me call it 1, 2, 3A. So this A is some different A. So let me take to be this. So this epsilon is some linear combination, and I can take it to be such that epsilon cube is 1 and epsilon square is epsilon minus 1 to the power minus 1 epsilon star. Okay, so the reason of this choice will be clear immediately, because I want this special construction to have some special property, which is again an allowed wave function. So what is this wave function? What is the property of this A and minus A? They are eigenstates of this cyclic operator. Okay? P cyclic, not necessarily the permutation. I mean, if you want to construct them to be a permutation operator against it, you need a 2D subspace. So that is what will be clear.
So out here you are denoting A and minus A like two different things. What is the difference?
Yeah, they are just partners of this, because if you take a star on this complex conjugate, you will get the second one. That is why I'm calling it a minus A, and it will be also clear. And that is, so let me just write down this equation. So if you apply the cyclic operator on minus A, you will get this. If you want, you can also call it A bar if the minus is confusing you. Okay, some A bar. Just a notation, just to tell this is partner of that.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the two possibilities. Now, if you want to see that what happens to this under the permutation operator, then you will see they are not permutation symmetric, but they rather form a 2D subspace such that 1, 2, 3 A goes to psi 1, 2, 3 A bar, and 1, 2, 3 A bar goes to psi 1, 2, 3 A. Okay. So if you want to write down this as this 2-dimensional subspace of psi A operator, so this is a 2 by 2. So this matrix will look like 0, 1, 1, 0. The psi alpha. So this is the A bar matrix. A bar. So that is how it should look like. So this is a 2 by 2 representation. So now you have the 2 by 2 representation which works on this subspace but doesn't work on these individual states. So this is a 2 by 2 representation. Now you can similarly construct other operators which looks like this A and B, A and A bar operator, such as another set of operator you can construct. Sorry, another set of states you can construct like this: 1 by root 3, 1, 2, 3 plus 2, 3, 1 plus 3, 1, 2. So these are various like kind of the states on this triangle, and so on. So now we notice that it doesn't. So there is nothing in principle that rules out this kind of thing. Okay, so there are all these possible states you can have, and they are neither symmetric nor anti-symmetric because they form this higher dimensional subspace, and they have this, just like you have spinors which forms a higher dimensional representation, higher dimensional space. So they form this kind of representation for this permutation operator. So in principle they should be there, and there is no reason a priori that why this permutation operator should belong to 1D vector space. So one should also be able to create this so all these kind of states, but it turns out that in 3D, so in this whole discussion I didn't have any 3D 1D anything, right? It is just generic dimension. So it turns out that the only kind of wave function you see in nature are either fully symmetric or fully anti-symmetric, which is of this type or this type. So there is nothing like these guys. So but they are theoretical possibilities, so they are called parastatistics, like parafermions and parabosons. And I just want to make a small comment about them, that this statement was basically, so now the next statement I'm going to make a postulate, which is symmetry postulate. But the textbook write this postulate as a postulate of physics, but it is not a postulate of physics. It's a postulate, I mean postulate of physics of course, but it's a postulate for elementary particles, because there are exceptions to this postulate for other particles. So that is why, so let me just state it anyway. So the statement is following: wave function for a n particle system is either fully symmetric, which is bosons, with respect to pair permutation of course, or fully antisymmetric, which is fermions. So this is the symmetry postulate. And this is actually was discussed in the context of elementary particles, just to say that all the elementary particles, which means leptons or bosons or like quarks and all this, everything you know, and the composites, they are all either fermion or boson. So half the particle, or these are the two broad categories of particles. But here is my problem with this statement, that this assumes that first of all, what is elementary? I mean, who tells you? I mean, who decides what is elementary? So elementary means the basic ingredients of particle physics. So the English word elementary is reserved for that, which I don't like, but anyway, it is there historically. And it is all, as I said, like, as you know, this is for 3D, and this is the kind of, this is the postulate which we will assume, and we will go forward with that. But we have discussed yesterday that there are exceptions to that, which is in 2D you can have objects which can theoretically and even experimentally, now people are, there are some debate, but it looks like these are true, that although it is hard to have a smoking gun experiment which tells you this is this, that is that, but it seems this is true. So in 2D you can have systems like anyons, and then there is another class called braiding statistics, which is different from the anyon braiding, and that is a possibility in 3D also. Even 3D you can have them. And these parastatistics, none of these are these kind of things, but there are possible realization of that in 2D system and various kind of special systems. So this symmetry postulate is only for elementary particles in 3D, or like fundamental, again the word quote unquote fundamental, the building blocks of standard model as we know. Okay. So, and then there is another statement associated with that, which is spin statistics theorem, which you will learn if you take a course on statistics, which will take a course on QFT, which tells you that fermions has spin half integer and bosons have spin integer. Just know the statement, the proof will come later because it requires Lorentz invariance and all. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you about symmetry postulate, and I wanted to form the argument that why we will only discuss bosons and fermions. Primarily, we will discuss bosons and fermions. But this is an entire world, and I suggest you to look it up. So, and especially those who are interested in this quantum computing kind of era. So this is there is a strong proposals of this kind of particles which has these weird statistics in true 2D systems. They can be candidate of qubits and they can be manipulated in some special ways and preserved and all that. So look it up and take it as stamp paper or something, but we will not go into that. But I just wanted to arrive at this symmetry postulate that out of all the possibilities, we'll only consider fully symmetric and fully antisymmetric wave function. And now we will see that how to construct these states properly and how to give them mathematically, give a mathematical description for that. Okay, so it's clear so far. Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Question? Okay. Can everybody can hear me?
Yes, I think so. I
Okay.
can hear you.
So now I will
Yes, sir.
come to one more basic point, which is also something which is for you to think about, but not think. I mean, get into that because it will opening a pathway from here towards the quantum field theory, and that is also related to the question which yesterday Chaitanya asked in the comment box. So first of all, note that quantum particles are not just identical; they are also indistinguishable. So what does that mean? So you might have done this example, or maybe we'll do that in StatMech. That if we have identical particles, which are like which you use to calculate this entropy, and then you can show that this gives entropy, that if you have a box of identical particles, then how the entropy changes and all those things, just because of the fact they are identical, which means you lost information about that. So let me give a simple example instead of getting into the wordplay. So let's say I give you two states, 1 and 2, and I give you two particles which are indistinguishable to put in this state. So what are the possibilities? The possibilities are you put this here, or vice versa. So one state is 1, 2, and the state is 2, 1. And you don't know which is which, because that's the statement question you asked yesterday, that how do I know? We don't know. So that's the fact. So what is the quantum mechanical state? So the classical state, again you will say, okay, classical state is because you don't know, it's a probability mixture. But quantum state is, it can be both at the same time, right? So the quantum state is this. If it is symmetric, it is exactly like a singlet wave function, or this. If I follow the symmetrization postulate, these are the only two possibilities. But that means also these states are entangled, right? And that basically tells you all the electrons in the universe are entangled because they are identical particles and you have access to one of them. But the state of all electrons in the world, all electrons. So they are a huge superposition state of all the electrons. But you have by a local measurement, you are working with one of the local electron in local measurement. So it turns out there is a notion to deal with this kind of scenario. And the notion is, whenever something is like that, you think of field theory or some kind of a field. So then you say that the particles are not particles, in the sense that there is nothing called a particle. A particle means a localized lump of energy or mass. So it is, the electrons are basically like a fluid or a field which is all over everywhere. And this measurement produces a local excitation over this field. So that is roughly the idea. And that takes you towards quantum field theory. And that tells you that you can treat, there is nothing called particle, there is only field. So the electrons are field, and they are interacting through some electromagnetic interaction, which is also a field, and everything is field. And that is one of the most fundamental way to think about quantum world. and it is actually even more fundamental than and it leads to all kind of, you can do very precise calculation based on this kind of picture. And the entire particle physics and condensed matter is basically built on that. Like the standard model, everything is basically a quantum field theory calculation. Okay, just the statement. So this is just to create a link such that you take quantum field theory next semester, if you are interested about this, to get the full picture of quantum mechanics, which many body quantum mechanics naturally gives you that. But now let's come back to syllabus, which is to learn to construct. The syllabus is only bosons and fermions and how to construct their wave function. That's what we'll learn now. Okay. So now we'll discuss solution of a n particle quantum mechanical system. And for simplicity, I will assume that my H is just this. Although they are an n particle, they are not interacting. When they will interact, that will actually become very interesting. I will give you a little bit of idea about that, but you will mostly learn that in the advanced condensed matter course. So the Hamiltonian is this. Okay. So Hamiltonian, this means there are only single particle potential. There is no two body, three body term. Okay, only one. There is one potential, some potential at every place, at every point of space, and the particle is experiencing that. Okay. So that is basically the idea. So now that means this problem is separable, right? I can write a separate problem. So for the sake of simplicity, I have removed this index I from here. That means I am telling every particle is experiencing the same potential. Okay. It can happen one particle is experiencing. There is no reason to think that they will experience same, but for simplicity, I did that. So that means I can break down this problem into many single particle problems, just like we did in these multi-dimensional problems. Higher dimension, the 2-dimension, you can think it as like two one-dimensional problem, like separation of variable. And we will see how will you construct the n-body wave function from these single particle wave functions, which you already have learned, but now I will go in more general. And for n particle, we have learned that this already for two particles. Now I'll go more general and we'll see how this symmetrization postulate gives us these two types of wave function. So this is the single particle wave function, and let me say that is given by En phi n r, where n is the energy level or quantum number. And these states are basically single particle quantum states. Sometimes to distinguish them from the multi-particle states, we just call them a level, single particle level. But you will say a level is field. That means this particle is in that eigenstate, that quantum state. Okay. So now let's construct the n particle wave function for this system. So the n particle wave function will be I'll also give an example. Just I'm writing down in abstract notation everything. So phi L1 R1, phi L2 R2, dot phi Ln Rn. So this Li curly implies I'm writing all the possible configurations, right? And also note, so that means my wave function, the total wave function, these are all the possibilities the Li's can take. So the statement is set of all psi Li's. We can have forms a complete basis. Because that is what we have learned, that if I have a Hamiltonian, this is just applying the basic rules of a quantum Hamiltonian. All the possible states, eigenstates of n-body Hamiltonian will form a complete basis. That means it will follow this rule. Okay. Now let's look at some example with 2 particle and 3 particle. So let's take a 3 particle state. Let's
Sir,
say I have 3
one
particle.
thing. Sir,
Yes.
excuse me. Sir, out here, can we write? Yeah, like as you are saying that you are just writing it separately, like yeah, the single particle quantum state. But the
Hmm.
thing is that whenever we are doing that thing, we can't distinguish from one particle from another. Okay, because they are indistinguishable. So how we know that okay, this particle has this solution of psi one and then psi two and like that, and then we can
No,
have.
I'm saying these are like, so all these particles are identical. That's why they are not separable. So and the system is made of n identical particles. Okay.
Hmm.
And then what I'm trying to write down the total wave function of this n identical particle. Now this it is possible. So that's why let me just do the example. So
Okay,
let me say
okay,
I
okay.
have 3 particles, okay, and 3 particle in a box. So these are the levels of the box, right? Energy levels. Now let's look at all the possibilities. What can happen? All 3 particle in this state, right? So then this is phi 1 r1, phi 1 r2, phi 3 r3. So this is the tag for the particle 1, this is tag for particle 2, this is tag for particle 3, right? Sorry, I wrote a typo. All 3 are in this state 1, okay? But it can happen this like this, that first particle is in state 1, or first particle is in, so let's say there are 3 states, and write it like first particle in state 3, second particle in state 2, and third particle is in some state 4. Mhm. This can happen, right? This is also an allowed configuration. So you can have this. You don't know which is what is where. So these are, so you write the possibilities, right? Do you understood this much?
Yes, sir.
But these states have different energies, because of course it's not same energy to be in this state. So what is the total energy? So let's say I write down all the possible configurations. So all of these are solutions. All of these are solutions for the n-body Hamiltonian. Right? Makes sense? It's very important that you understand this example. Then everything else will become very simple. So then what is the total energy of this system? I equal to 1 to n E ni. So if it is in the state 1 1 1, then it is the energy is E1 E1 E1, sum of E1 E1 E1. If it is 3 2 4, it is E3 E2 E4, right? Sum of E3 E2 E4. So that is how you write it down. And there is a simpler way to write it down, and then this will lead to this, exactly related to your question, that given that we don't know which is what and where which one is going in which level, we don't need to actually keep track of the particle. The only thing we have to keep track of is how many are there in a given state. Okay, it doesn't matter who is where, but just the question is how many, right? So the E can be written in a much more elegant form if I do EK. So this means, so when in the first state we had all 3 particles at the same level, which is the ground state. So then the NK, the degeneracy of that level was 3. There are 3 particles in that case. So this NK is basically number of particles in level K. So when I say level K, I imply this single particle state K. Okay? As I said, I will use the terminology level for single particle state. And note, so that means there are many three particle, or in this case we can say n particle to generalize, states with exactly same total energy, right? Because of the degeneracy. And that is also coming from the indistinguishability. Like 1 1 2, 2 1 1 1 1 2 1, they are all same energy, right? So that leads to some kind of a degeneracy. So this thinking, till now I have not applied the symmetrization postulate, right? I'm just saying this is just all the possibilities. So let's say this n1 n2, okay, so like that. So if I list these numbers, the degeneracy of the states, that will completely specify a state, since I don't know what is where. So this set of numbers completely specify the state. Now I want to compute, let's say, what is this degeneracy? Like how many states are possible in this? Okay. So what is this degeneracy? So how will you calculate that? You will do that. You just put fast particle. So fast particle, how many ways it can have n1? How many ways you can put n1 out of capital N in the level 1? So that is n choose choose n1. Similarly, how many ways you can put this the fast particle? Then you print the second particle. So now you have n minus 1 particle. And how many ways you can put it in the second level? N choose n2, right? And so on, like that. So if you keep doing that, so you will see that the total number of ways is basically a multiplied factor of that. And that is or any arbitrary n. You have done this kind of statistics. Should be E summation k equal to 1 to n. K equal to 1. What is the comment? I missed that.
Oh, sir, he is saying that shouldn't that summation in the total energy summation E equals to k equals to 1 to n.
Not infinity, you're saying.
Yeah. He's
Why did I-
Not, I'm not
like
saying,
Yeah, because it cannot be infinity, right?
yeah.
Because at some point of time this will
Also, it
end.
should be, sir, EK, right? Not EN. I mean, number of particles in the
Oh yeah, you were saying
energy
this,
of
right,
that
right. You are
level.
correct. This is a sloppy notation. So these are all the possibilities. And this is something you will learn or maybe already have learned because you use this kind of counting to compute the entropy of an identical gas in the Gibbs entropy. But now we will bring in the symmetrization postulate. Okay. So what symmetrization postulates tells you that there are not this many states, not this many state. W is the number. There is actually one state because you know who is where, what is what, right? So it is it's a superposition of all these possibilities. So that is what is your quantum mechanical state. And there are two ways to take this superposition. One is fully symmetric and fully antisymmetric. That is the symmetrization postulate. So if I write down the fully symmetric, this is the fully symmetric wave function. C is some normalization. This is a permutation of all these. So if I have this free particle, it's a permutation of all this combination. So this plus this plus this, like that, right? Because you don't know which is what is where. So it's a superposition of all these states. It's actually a highly entangled state in that sense, because it's a you cannot separate it out. Okay, so I will come to the entanglement point later, but this point is clear, right? The symmetrization principle tells you that in a quantum mechanical system, there is no degeneracy actually. It is just one state, which is a superposition of all these states, right? At the same time, because superposition means they are all of them are there at the same time. Is it clear or you are confused?
superimposition of those different types of combinations, right?
Yes, all these combinations, all these possible allowed combination. Okay, so now calculate this C. This C calculation is easy. So to calculate the C, what you have to do, 1 psi s, so just 2 minutes. So this P and P prime will come. So you will get, so all the possible P you have to take sum over, that is C squared times this number of permutation. And you have already computed this permutation. And that is basically this number, this n1 factorial into n2 factorial n2 factorial divided by capital N factorial. So then how does it look like for a symmetric state? So the symmetric state looks like 1 by root 3 this combination phi 1 r1 phi 1 r2 phi 2 r3 plus phi 1 r1 phi 2 r2 phi 1 r3 phi 2 r1 phi 1 r2 phi 1 r3. So that is your symmetrization. The symmetrization tells you this is the symmetric state. And now I will stop here and ask you to construct the antisymmetric state, how that will look like. So these are the only two possible states for this kind of, and when the system is in one of that, the other one is not possible because they are orthogonal. And one of them is a fermionic state of this n particle, and another is a bosonic state of n particle. So think about this point and think that why just a description of nk is a complete description. Okay, is everything clear so far? Did you understand that why it is an entangled? No, I'll bring the entangled language later. But why it is a superposition state? Because you don't know what is what, and all these are allowed things. So then it must be a superposition state, right? That is what the basic postulates of quantum mechanics tells you. Because they forms the basic state also for the full Hamiltonian.
Sir, in the
Yeah.
in the part where you wrote about choosing for each level, what is W exactly supposed to represent? I got a bit confused there.
Oh, W tells you the degeneracy of each of these levels.
Okay.
What is the degeneracy? Given a particular set of n, given this, W tells you how many states are there correspond, how many such states are there corresponding to that, right?
Okay.
Okay, that's all. So now you can ask questions, or we can close and try to think about these things. I will add these all the relevant things in the Piazza as I do. Okay, so stop recording.